Hi, I'm Dimitri Luttrell. I'm the director of the upcoming short film, The Jewels, which is going to be releasing August 1st on YouTube. There's a chance it's already out, so you could go watch it right now. I'm also the director of the award-winning short film, The Party at the End of the World, which released 2 years ago, so I know for sure that one's on YouTube. Today I'm going to be going over how I utilize art in my short films, how I used it to get better as a filmmaker, and how you can use it to make a better volume for your filmmaking. So when I was finishing up, film school, I wasn't where I wanted to be as a filmmaker. I still think I had a lot to learn, and I had a lot of improving I still needed to do. I was wrapping up a short film called Hitman that released a few months after I finished film school, and it wasn't the best. I put it out there, even though I really didn't want to put it out there. I don't think it turned out how I wanted it to. I don't think a lot of my film school projects turned out how I wanted them to.
Went by your home yesterday, day before, and the day before that.
When I was in film school, I didn't really have a style, especially when it came to writing, because I was writing all my work. I don't think I figured out truly what type of films I wanted to make, and I didn't know what my identity was as a filmmaker. And I think that's the big problem that a lot of young filmmakers have. I just wanted to make something that was cool, right? Like, we're at film school, they're paying for a lot of it. Okay, I want to make the coolest possible project. I was paying too much attention to other projects and how they looked when I was working on it. So I wasn't really making something creative or something that stood out on its own, because I was basically just referencing this project and this project and this project. I mean, from everything to the color to the music, I was like, all right, I want to do this, I want to do that. I saw a Tarantino interview where he talked about, if you truly love films, if you truly love cinema, you'll never make a bad movie. And I realized that that was the problem. That was kind of my issue, is that I didn't really love film. Like I told you before, I was just trying to make things that look cool. For about 2 years, I didn't do any writing. I didn't do any short films, any filming really. I was filming videography, but I wasn't doing any writing. I was watching classics, new films. I was watching, just some past films. And when I say classics, I mean like 50s, 60s, like 70s, like really old films, black and whites type ordeals, not even like what HD wasn't even available yet, even though a lot of those films got remastered to 4K now, which is a process I need to look into, because I don't know how people do that. Like, how is The Good, Bad, and the Ugly in 4K? How did they possibly pull that off? In the midst of watching all these movies, I was scrolling Instagram one day, and I remember seeing this painting of this woman on a beach staring out into the ocean, and I remember thinking, oh my goodness, I get it. Like, I figured it out. Painters have one frame where they can put whatever they want on it and they can tell a story, but they don't get to get multiple angles and multiple shots and different looks. They have that saying that says, a painting is worth 1,000 words. And that's how I found Edward Hopper, who to me is one of the best painters, the best artist of this of all time, because he was like one of the first people to paint mental health in a modern sense. And I thought that was important, because a lot of people were, could look at these paintings. Like Nighthawks, for example, is one of the more famous paintings of all time. It represented modern loneliness at that time, where you see this couple having a good night, enjoying their time. You see a working class guy that's doing his job. He's isolated from these characters. But then you see this guy sitting by himself, enjoying his drink, but he is alone. It was modern and people could relate to it. And I think it really shined a new light on things like loneliness and people who, do feel isolated.
Here goes that feeling again. Loneliness.
When I was making The Jewels, I was really looking at Edward Hopper and some of his paintings that really inspired the story. I think he has a painting called Office in New York. I love this painting because you have this woman who is, dolled up, makeup, all the makeup on, has this beautiful red dress on. She's playing this piano. She clearly wants the attention of her husband, who is, has his face deep in whatever. He's not paying any attention to her, giving her no attention. Even though you see this couple in this closed space, in this room together, there's an insane amount of distance between them. And that helped me really piece The Jewels together. That's how I really understood what The Jewels was going to be. It was going to be, okay, we already knew the film was going to follow a couple in a closed space, but I was thinking to myself, what's the best ways to direct it and to showcase that isolation between this married couple that they're having, considering they're on their routes for divorce. And that painting really helped me figure it out. We kind of paid ode to it in the film, where the woman in the film, Mrs. Jewell, Destiny Love, wears this red dress, and there's a moment where she wants to get the attention of Mr. Jewell, and Mr. Jewell isn't, paying any attention to her. So even though they're sitting mere feet from each other, inches from each other, there's so much distance and isolation between them. They're on opposite sides of the world.
You might want to warm it up for a bit. Kind of sat out for a while. Don't want it to get too cold.
There's another shot too called Morning Sun that we put in the film, which is my favorite shot in the film. It's gotten great raves about it. And actually, we won an award for Best Cinematography, and the festival where we won that specifically pointed out that shot as one of the reasons we won. It's like, I love that painting so much because you have this woman bathing in this sunlight, thinking, really, you can see that she's thinking about something, she's in heavy thought. And I was thinking to myself, well, how can we put this in the Jewels, right? How can I have a character, bathing in morning sunlight and deep reflection and thinking? And I wrote a scene specifically, even though it fits into the film perfectly, but I put a scene in the film specifically for that painting. And we kind of, they didn't one create it, but it's pretty close. I think we did a great job. It's my favorite shot in the film, probably my favorite shot ever that I've done in a film. Edward Hopper has taught me a lot about filmmaking, especially with, directing isolation, distance between characters. In The Party at the End of the World, we had this very cool moment. There was this moment where we were filming two different scenes where characters were talking to each other. And so we filmed them the same way, but they're different in a sense. Josh is talking to his old friend, and he says in a monologue that they've grown distance apart from each other. They're not that close to each other anymore. And so we filmed it in a sense to where, okay, both of them are going to be on opposite sides of the frame, complete negative opposite sides of the frame. They're going to be distanced from each other. And that's how you showcase that distance, even though they're sitting so close. I think a scene or two later, he meets this girl who's kind of all up in his personal space. We film it the same way, but they're on the inside parts of the frame, not on the opposite parts. They're on the positive sides of the frame, to where it almost feels like, they're way too close together. She's in his personal space. And that's just some things that I've learned from a filmmaking aspect of how to portray, thanks to looking at art and seeing how artists portray distance and things like that. And so these are things I've learned, and I think that has made me a better filmmaker. Again, the Jewels could be on YouTube right now. You could literally click on this YouTube channel and go watch the Jewels right now. You could also watch The Party at the End of the World, because it's been out for about 2 years. 2 award-winning films. I'm very happy with both of them. Again, this has been Dimitri Luttrell, just sitting in the director's chair, going over what made me become an artist by actually paying attention to artists, painters, and learning how to make, great films and become a better filmmaker. I don't just make cool stuff anymore. Although I do feel like my last 2 films are pretty cool. The Jewels is definitely really cool. We had a great performance from Destiny Love and Sir Quentin Ross, giving their all for the films. They both did incredible jobs, and I cannot wait for you guys to see their performances. So please go check them out, and be sure to subscribe. Stick around. We got more content coming for you. And thank you for making it to the end of this video. Again, The Jewels releases August 1st on YouTube. If you're reading or watching this on August 1st or beyond of 2025, The Jewels could be watched right now by you. So be sure to check it out. Thank you guys. Hope to see you soon.